Screaming Geek Media here. Today we're going to talk about the month of March as far as what I watched. No, previous month I did February. I did I've been doing monthly themes. That month was all about true stories, and I think going forward, instead of just talking about if I'm doing a monthly theme, I don't want to just limit my video to that. I think I'll just roll over and just show you everything I watched during the month, whether if it's if I'm continuing doing monthly themes or if I'm going to do anything else. So I just want to share that with you. But before we get into that, if you like physical media, if you like 4Ks, Blu-rays, even DVDs, like that stuff, you like movies, home theater, check out my other videos because I do these kinds of discussions. I do reviews, unboxings, collection updates. Check that stuff out. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn your bell notification on. So let's get into what I watched during the month of March. My monthly theme for March was wrestlers and movies. Whether it was main roles or a lot of times wrestlers just appear in movies. For little small bit parts. It's kind of cool to see what some of them do. I had quite a few. I actually got enough I can probably do another month sometime. So maybe later this year I might do another month. So we're going to start out. The first one, we got The Marine with John Cena. Great action flick. Definitely one of his early, might have been his first movie. I can't remember. From WWE films. Great movie. I still enjoy it today. It's a lot of fun. It's amazing to see what he's done after this. And he's went on to have a great career in acting, following The Rock. Next up, we have The Marine 2. But instead of keeping John Cena, they changed it up and we got Ted DiBiase Jr. Another great movie here. Honestly, out of the whole franchise, this one might be my favorite. I just thought it was, you don't have a big name supporting it. I think DiBiase Jr. does a great job with the role. So I think it's well written. It does some great action, story. So again, I think, The Marine 2, I think is definitely my favorite of the franchise. Next up, they bring in The Miz for Marine 3. Miz has went on to do the rest of the franchise. He's done some pretty good stuff. He does a good job with the role here. Next up, we have Marine 3. Like I said, we got Miz coming back. Also, we have Summer Rae thrown in there. Next up, we have Marine 5. And joining the cast this time, we have Miz's wife, Marie. She's in it. Kurt Axel. We got Bo Dallas. Naomi. Heath Slater. So I got quite a few in here. I have little roles in. It's pretty good. And the final one of the Marine series, we got Marine 6. We got Becky Lynch in it and also Shawn Michaels. Now, something I did for the Marine movies is I did, all of these are custom covers I did. I did all the matching spines on them and all the backs. These are all covers I designed. Okay, next up we have Knucklehead. We got Paul White Big Show. Everything revolves around him. This is another great movie. This is, if you have not seen any movies with Paul White, he does an incredible job. He's done custom action stuff before, but as far as comedy goes, he is a genius. He is so damn good with comedy. And some of the lines he has and his timing is great. Some of his facial expressions. This thing is a riot. If you have not seen this, I highly recommend picking this up. This is great. Next up, we got another franchise started by John Cena. We got 12 Rounds. This is a great action movie. And we got 12 Rounds 2. Again, another one where they changed. And instead of Cena, they brought in Randy Orton for this one. This is another great action flick. It's definitely worth having. Then we got 12 Rounds 3 with Dean Ambrose. Now, this is a great movie. But the whole premise of the first two, the 12 rounds really has to do with, it's a psychology thing, different round, different things to do. Or this one has a different premise. Instead of that, it has to do with his ammunition. He's got 12 rounds of ammo. So that's what that one is about. And it's a great movie, but it's kind of weird that it went off and did something different. Next up, we have The Eliminators with Wade Barrett. He's done a couple other movies as well I haven't picked up, but this is a great job. He plays an assassin. Also has Scott Adkins in it. This is a great movie worth picking up. I got this from Grub. I haven't checked to see if they still have it on sale or not, but definitely check this out. Yeah, next up we have a classic, Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan. Now, yeah, I was a big Hogan fan at back in the day. He's a lot of fun. Movie wise, he sucked as an actor, but I enjoy his movies. They're fun, even as bad as he was. They're entertaining, and this is no exception. This is a really fun movie. Also has Shelley Duvall, Christopher Lloyd. Also has Mark Calloway, who is known as the Undertaker. He plays this little bit role in this. Next up, we have The Longest Yard, the remake of the Burt Reynolds classic. This has Adam Sandler in it and wrestlers involved. You got several. You got Goldberg, Kevin Nash, Steve Austin, the Great Khali. So it's pretty good. Throw all those guys in there. Next up, we have MacGruber. I didn't watch it. I tried to watch it. I'm not sure how far I made it, but it was too over the top. I really didn't find much, comedy in it. It was just too much for me. I just thought it was freaking stupid, and I was like, I felt like I was being tortured. Plus, the wrestlers that are in it, you got Chris Jericho, Mark Henry, Great Khali, MVP, Kane, Big Show. But they're not in it very long. I'm not going to spoil it if you want to see it, and I'm not going to say what happens. But yeah, if you're into some crazy off-the-wall shit, you might like it, but this was a waste of money for me, even just to see a quick glimpse of the wrestlers. Next up, we have a double feature of Steve Austin. We got Recoil and Tactical Force. Both of them are really good movies. Definitely worth checking out. I'm already downloaded separate covers. I don't like when they put multiple movies in one case, so I will be separating these and putting them in separate cases. Next up, we got The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. This is kind of a faith-based movie. It has Shawn Michaels in it. It is really good. Definitely worth checking out. Next up, we have The Peanut Butter Falcon. This is actually a good movie. You got Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson, John Hawkes, and introducing Zach Gottsagen. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. But basically, this revolves around a kid that has Down syndrome, and he's, in his nursing home, and he's a big wrestling fan, and he keeps tries to escape and get away, and he wants to go to this wrestling school, and he happens to meet up with Shia LaBeouf's character, and they take him to the school, and they run into, it's being run by a guy played by Mick Foley. Also, you got Jake the Snake Roberts, so it's pretty cool. But definitely, if you have not seen them, this is highly recommend. This is a great movie. Next up, we have Cage Fighter with Jon Moxley, previously known as Dean Ambrose with WWE, but left there and went with Jon Moxley with AEW. Another great movie, definitely worth checking out if you like fighting MMA style. This is a really good movie. Next up, we have Stuber with Batista. This is a really good movie. This is so damn funny. He's another wrestler that he's really making a name for himself. I think he does a wonderful job. He's done a lot of the action movies and also has done comedy. He is really good. Next up, we have Money Plane with Adam Copeland, who is known as Edge in WWE. Also, we have Kelsey Grammer and Denise Richard and Thomas Jane. This is a very well done movie. Great action. Definitely worth checking out. Next up, we have Warrior. This is another fighting movie. You've got Tom Hardy, Joel Edgerton, Nick Nolte. As far as wrestlers go, this has Kurt Angle. He plays a Russian fighter in this. Now, this 4K, it's been out for a while. I just recently heard about it, so I picked it up. I will be doing a separate review of this. It is a great movie. Definitely, Nick Nolte, I always love anything he does. He does a phenomenal job in this. Great performance from him. Next up, we got Armed Response with Wesley Snipes. Another great movie. You know, when it comes to, Wesley Snipes nowadays, this felt like it was going to be just a generic B movie and wasn't going to be very good. But I was surprised. This is not your typical action movie. Before we go into that, I mean, it also has, as far as wrestlers go, it has Seth Rollins in it. But this is more of a psychological, it's a thriller. It has action, but it's not I wouldn't consider it an action movie. But again, I'll probably be doing a review on this because I would recommend getting this. This is very well done. Next up, we have See No Evil with Kane. Great horror movie, kind of reminiscent of your old Halloween and your slasher movies. And of course, Kane, this movie was made for him. I mean, he has such a presence. I mean, you see him, he's just so intimidating. He's a scary dude regardless. And so this was made for him. He does a great job in this, and you definitely have to check out See No Evil. There's also a second one. I have not seen that yet or have it. Next up, we have Universal Soldier with a Return, and it has Goldberg in it. Does a pretty good job in this. This is a great movie. It's a lot of fun. And some of the lines, Goldberg is freaking hilarious. And next up, we have Hercules with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. I had not watched this for quite some time. It's definitely a different take on the mythology of Hercules. This is a great movie, very well done. Now, next up, I got some that I don't own that I actually did some streaming. Here we have a movie called Trading Mom. I never knew about this one. This has Andre the Giant in it. It's actually one of his last roles he did before he died. And I forget when this came out, but it's a fun movie. It's definitely worth checking out. It has to do with these kids that feel like they hate their mom. They want to get rid of her, and they come across as kind of a gypsy type of person, and they put a spell and kind of erase their mom, and they go to this mom market where they can actually go through and choose a new mom. And it is a lot of fun. It's definitely worth checking out. Now, this next one is called 90 Feet from Home. Has Shawn Michaels in it. It's another good one. I did buy this on DVD, but I couldn't find the damn thing. I misplaced it. So I ended up finding it on Tubi, and I just watched it streaming. Very well done. It's definitely a different role for Shawn Michaels. Because if you follow wrestling and Shawn Michaels, he did have that history. He was a partier and got involved with drugs and alcohol. But then he, found Christianity and, cleaned himself up, turned himself around. So this movie falls, in the beginning, he plays a stepfather. He's an alcoholic and a very abusive. And you're watching, it's like, man, he's a dickhead. He's an ass. Like you really want to hate him. You just want to strangle him. And then he, turns himself around. He does a phenomenal job here. Really shows his acting chops. Next up, we got Revelation Road. This movie actually has Steve Borden in it. It's another kind of a faith-based movie. It is very well done. It's kind of definitely low budget, and when you're watching it, it doesn't have that high production quality, but it's got a great story. And also, there's actually a second one. Instead of thinking it was a sequel, it's actually a two-parter. At the end of this, it actually says to be continued. So I definitely have to watch a second one, but I would recommend watching this or picking it up on DVD or Blu-ray. It is a really good watch. So that does it for the wrestlers and movies theme. So in total, we had 29 movies with wrestlers we watched, totaling 36 different wrestlers. So that was a pretty good month there. Now, besides the wrestlers, other movies I watched, we watched True Lies, which is a James Cameron movie. It just came out on 4K. It's Aliens, another recent Cameron release, 4K. And then The Abyss on 4K. There's definitely one everybody's been waiting for, at top of everyone's wish list for 4K. Glad to have it. Now, I will be doing separate reviews of these Cameron movies, so check for those. I'm going to be recording those here in a bit, and don't know when I'm going to get them edited and uploaded, but definitely keep an eye out for that. Next up, we've got a Hans Zimmer live in Prague on Blu-ray. Now, I just did a review of this recently. This is freaking awesome. If you like movie scores, I would recommend getting this. Check out my review because this is phenomenal. I've always been a big fan of Hans Zimmer. His music is great. So yeah, definitely check this out. Highly recommended. Now, my last couple was we actually went to the theater twice this month. Our closest theater is about an hour away. It's decent. If you want a good action movie, we don't go there. But we did go see Ordinary Angels. Didn't think I needed to go to a good theater for it. The guy plays Reacher TV series. I can't remember his name. He's making a big name for himself, and this is one of the movies he did. It's a true story. My wife has a big crush on him, loves anything he's in. So we went to the theater to see it. It's a phenomenal movie. I recommend checking that out. Not sure if you can still see it or not. Hopefully it comes on physical media soon. We will be picking that up. And last but not least, a week ago, we went and seen Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I went and seen that on Dolby Cinema. Incredible. Some people haven't liked it, but I don't know. I think some people are just being too critical. It's a great popcorn movie. It's tied to the first one. You bring all the characters back. We really enjoyed it. I would recommend checking it out. And there are already pre-orders up for that coming out, so we will be getting that. So there you have it. Everything I watched in the month of March. All the wrestlers and movies, theme I did, plus a few other ones I, squeaked in there for doing reviews here. So definitely, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you picked up, some of your highlights from the month, and we'll see you soon. Geek out.